Welcome! In this series of short videos, we will look at topics common to both the PowerBasic console and Windows compilers. Today, we will look at using the Comm command for communication on a USB port. Today's video makes use of a small LCD display connected via the USB port. Details of the hardware construction are covered in a video over on my custom PC hardware channel. Links here and in the description below. So when we plug in the display to our USB port, it will appear as a Comm device. Here we have it here, USB serial COM3. This is what we're going to be sending our data to. So how do we do that in code? In PowerBasic, sending data to a COM port is much the same as sending data to a file. First we have to obtain a handle. So we're going to create a local variable which will be our handle. And then we're going to use the free file command to pick up the next available handle. Just like you would do when you are opening a file. Now we will use a command we haven't used before. The Comm command. Using the Comm command to open a connection to COM3, which is the port our USB display is sitting on. So it's Comm open the COM port as the handle. Almost exactly the same as you would open a file. Now once you've finished sending data to that COM port, just like a file, you would close it off using the Comm close command. The first thing we want to do is to send a message to our display to clear the display of anything that's on it already. So we're going to be using a Comm send command to send the data to our port. Now, with this particular USB driver, there are control codes we need to send. So we're going to set them up as constants right at the beginning of the program. All the commands are preceded by a control code FE. This is in hex. So what we're doing is we're creating a string constant which is going to be the character code for the hex FE. And if we wish to clear the display, this is formed up by the display command followed by 58 in hex. So all we have to do to clear the display is to put our command in like that, basically sending this string to the COM port. Now there's a couple of other commands we want to send when we do initialize the display. One to set auto scroll on, and the auto scroll on command is 51. This means anything sent to the display, once you get to the bottom of the display, it will scroll upwards automatically. And the other thing, just for aesthetics, we'll want to send will display the cursor as a flashing block. And there are two commands for this, one to turn it on and one to turn it off. Now if we run that code now, we will see that the screen has cleared and the flashing block cursor has also appeared. So having done that, let's send some text. So we'll create a local variable to hold our text. Just as we've done before, we'll send that piece of text to the USB port. And if we run that, we will see that Hello World has indeed appeared on the display. So what else can we actually do? Now since we've already set the auto scroll on and the display block on, we don't need to send those in subsequent commands because the display will remember. Now if we want to do something perhaps on the second line, let's change the text we're going to be using. And we'll say this is on Odroid computer number 4. And after having put the input, we'll put a carriage return line feed at the end to go down to the second line. And we will send the time. And there we have our 2 lines of text on the display. So using these commands is quite straightforward to set up and control your display. Now there are a number of other options we can actually put in. I will create a series of constants at the beginning of the program. And what we're going to do now is we're going to change the colour of the display. Now the advantage of being able to change the colour is that we can actually use the colour to indicate different states on our computers. If we go for red, it will go a nice red. So you'll see inside here, where we've set up our constants, that in order to set the colour, you're giving it the display command with a DO hex value, and there are codes for the red, green and blue elements. So there are a large range of colours you can actually get away with. If we go for green, we will get quite a nice green display. Now of course, as you've got this COM port open, there are a number of things you can actually do. Ideally, you should actually test to see if you can open the COM port, just on the off chance that the port has become disconnected from the display. So we'll put a test for that in immediately after the attempt to open it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a for next loop in here. Now what this for next loop is doing, it's counting between 1 and 10. And at the end of sending the information to the screen, it will sleep for 2 seconds and then repeat. So effectively the display will update itself every 2 seconds. Which it does. Now one of the advantages of setting the colours is that once you set the colour on the screen will store this internally and remember it for the next time it's powered up. So in theory you only have to set the colour right at the beginning. So we could take that out and put it up here. So you'll see in general, using the COM port for sending information to a USB display is remarkably easy. As you can see, the command set for this particular device is quite expansive. I'll leave links in the description below where you can download this from. So now we have a generic USB display we can add to any machine we wish to display 2 lines of data. There are larger displays you can get, but this 2-line display was ideal for my purpose in this particular project. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.